anything, you can watch back the session. All right. Okay, let's go to this slide. Okay, so we are looking at marketing strategy. What does it mean by marketing strategy? You are actually trying to market yourself to the potential employer. Okay, so we are going to have a look at these things. Okay, VISA stands for values, interests, skills, and abilities. And we have the activities, and we have done that a bit. Okay, and then we have the job audit. Right, so how to recognize your skills? So self-auditing involves looking at your skills, at all your skills. So what kind of skills that you have? You have the hard skills and you have the soft skills. Okay, so your soft skills as well as your career-based skills, okay, can be audited. Right, so how do you pronounce this word, class?
Career.
Career.
Is it career? Are you sure?
No, 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 no.
You know quick career? You know quick
Yes.
career? That is how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Oh,
Career. Okay. Yeah. All right. So when you look at this word, okay, remember quick career, and that is how you're supposed to pronounce it. Okay. So as well as your career-based skills. Okay. So soft skills over here is something that you have learned from time to time. Okay. And apart from that, the hard skills are also something that you can learn on your own through formal education, and then you can also learn on your own using informal education. Okay, right. So how to market yourself, right? So you can look at the four below requirements here, okay, or the basic things that you need to pay attention to when you are auditing about or recognizing, try to recognizing your own skills. So you look at values, interests, skills, and abilities, or VISA. Okay. All right. For values, you are actually looking at the traits and characteristics. What are so special about you? Okay. So personal values are our moral compass of what to say, how to behave, how to treat ourselves and others, and what life choices we make. Okay, right. So it is what a person holds in the highest regard. For example, your principle. Okay, your principle. What makes you the best compared to the others? For example, in terms of honesty, okay, or in terms of responsibility. So let's say if you're working in a group and somehow the project that you're working on is not successful, then see as and assuming that you are the group leader or the project leader, so you are going to take the responsibility of the failure. So therefore, right, that one can be considered as responsibility or your value, something that is so special about you, right? Or integrity. Okay, let's say you are involved with a project and then somehow people are trying to bribe you in order to get the project or the tender. So instead of giving them the freedom to take that kind of thing, so you practice integrity, so you refuse to take the bribe, okay, and then you choose the tender accordingly. Okay, all right, that is about values. So how to find and nurture your personal values? So sometimes you didn't recognize, okay, that you have that kind of values, and how are you going to look at it, and then how to make sure that it is something that you are supposed to be proud of. Okay, so pick the ones that best define you and be honest with yourself. Not honest, but honest. Okay, right. So if you have the integrity, so be honest to yourself. Right. Let's say, okay, when people are trying to pay you for something which is illegal, then be honest to yourself. Then practice that. Okay, and then have a list of your values and rank by importance. Okay, so you have the integrity, for example, you have the honesty, you have the responsibility. So you are going to list or rank it according to its importance. And generally, our personal values are ultimately what shapes us as individuals. So, okay, let's say in the future, if you're going to start working, all right, whatever that you have practiced before is going to be or is going to portray of what you are or who you are. Okay, so let's say if you are late comers, meaning that you like to coming late, okay, to work, and then when you're going to start working afterwards, okay, that is what you're going to practice, right? And then if you like to do the job, okay, on time or before the due date, right, during your study, and when you're going to start working, that is what you're going to practice. Believe me, okay, that is going to be your personal values. Okay, next, let's talk about interest or passion, something that you like to do. Okay, so it defines based on your interest, okay, something that you are passionate about. For example, you like outdoor activities, so you are very passionate about it. So that is the thing that you're going to do the most, okay, and you are inspired to take the action based on what you like. Okay, for example, building kitchen cabinet. Okay, I'm not good at carpentry, but maybe if you're good at carpentry, then that is something that you like to do. Okay, or to play musical instrument. Okay, I like watching people playing drum, but I'm not good at drumming because I don't know how to play drum. Okay, or maybe write a book or read novel. Okay, watching K-pop movies, right, or drama. So that is something about your interest, something that you can also highlight about you. Okay, all right. So when you like to do this, okay, for example, when you are applying for a job, let's say you like to read books, okay, so the potential employer can assume that you are somebody who like to read. So if they are going to give you a task, okay, to read books, okay, or to read manuals and such, you are the best candidate to do so. Okay, so this is about interest. Okay, something that you are passionate about, something that you like. Okay, in my case, for example, I like to read something about the latest technology. Okay, because I am one of the e-learning practitioners in the university, so I like to learn more about the recent technology. Okay, for example, augmented reality or virtual reality, okay, in teaching and learning. So I read on that thing and how can I apply that kind of information into my teaching and learning. Okay, for example, like now what I'm doing with all of you, if you can see the screen, okay, I am highlighting all of the important points that you can take into consideration. Right. Okay, skills. So skills is referring to what a person is good at. Okay, for example, if you're good at academic, okay, or if you're good at study, then it shows. Okay, I'm not saying that you are a nerd, but you are actually showing who or what you are good at. Okay, it is gained through academic study. Okay, it can also gain through clubs and societies, voluntary work, part-time work, and other commitment. Right. So in 2016 until 2018, I was appointed as the head of program for learning technologies in the university. Okay. So at the university level, I was the head of the program for learning technologies, and people were quite surprised. Okay, because my background is on teaching language. Okay, though that I have what do you call it engulfed in e-learning starting from 2008. So 2018 and 2000 until 2020, 2016 until 2018. So the university appointed me to be head of the program for learning technologies. So people ask me, how do you develop your skills, your expertise? So it is through my reading, it is through my application. I attended conferences, I exchanged ideas with the others, and from there I learned how to get myself better in e-learning. Okay, right. So skills are also known as transferable, okay, or employability skills, something that makes you different from the others. Okay, for example, okay, let's say you attended an interview for a computer programmer. Okay, all of you have the background. Okay, let's say diploma or bachelor degree in computer programming, for example. Okay, but one of you has the most qualification whereby you have the certificate, let's say SQL network certificate. So you are the only candidate with that kind of certificate or qualification. So that makes you the most prominent candidate compared to the others, because the potential employer is going to look at your other skills that makes you different from the other. Okay, right, and then it is used to have a competitive advantage in the job market and to remain employable. Okay, so just to let you know, we are living in a very challenging world. So what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to learn many things from time to time. Okay, so if you're asking me at this moment, all right, I am planning to get my second degree of certification for Google Certified Educator. So I am a level one Google Certified Educator. So I am in the process of getting my second level of Google Certified Educator or certificate. Okay, so keep on learning, right? Because skills is something that you can transfer or something that you can gain, and it is going to be very useful when you are going to apply for a job. Okay, for example, if you are doing a computer network program, okay, your course, but at the same time you learn on multimedia. So in the future, when you are going to apply for a job, okay, people will see that, oh, you have this kind of knowledge, and at the same time, as an additional info, you have additional knowledge on multimedia, what do you call it, knowledge. So you know how to operate how to program the computer or the network, and at the same time you know how to work with multimedia approach. Okay, so for example, kind of that skills that you can learn is on data analysis, graphic design, adaptability, creativity, ability to work under pressure, and so on and so forth. Okay, leadership can also be nurtured through activities that you have conducted with your clubs, okay, or associations, for example. Right, just to be frank with you, I am also still learning on graphic design, okay, and multimedia production, whereby I learn how to edit my own instructional video, okay, to make it more interesting. Okay, but I feel that my sense of nature, I like to record it in a natural way, in the sense that I don't need much editing, okay, for my instructional video. So that are some examples of skills. Next, okay, or the last one under visa is the abilities or the strengths, okay, and this is what I have asked you to do for our first activity. Okay, so enduring attributes that influence individuals performance, okay, your ability, right? So you are able to work under pressure, for example, you are able to work in a group, right? That kind of ability or strengths. Okay, cognitive abilities, cognitive meaning that thinking, okay, your way of thinking. So abilities that influence the acquisition and application of knowledge in problem solving. So let's say you are a problem solver, okay, right? Just by looking at the problem or the situation, you know how to work on it and how to solve the problem. So these cognitive abilities will help you in order for you to get the job. Okay, next is on physical abilities. Okay, how strong are you physically? Right. So abilities that influence strength, endurance, flexibility, balance, and coordination. Okay, let's say if you're going to apply for a job afterwards, okay, later on, when you and it requires you to have a physical abilities and you are good at it, then you can do so. Okay, in my case, for example, all right, I am teaching, so I don't really need physical abilities because I don't have to use my physical uh, to deliver my knowledge. Okay, so I use most of the time my cognitive abilities. Okay, all right. Next, the psychomotor abilities. So abilities that influence the capacity to manipulate and control objects. Okay, right. So the simplest thing that you can remember is when the days when your parents give you a piece of drawing paper and then they allow you to draw or to sketch anything on the paper. So that is psychomotor abilities. You think and you move your hands or your legs to do so. Okay, so that is one of the abilities that influence the capacity to manipulate and control the objects. Okay, so if you're good at handling machine, for example, that is psychomotor abilities. You know which button to touch. Okay, that is psychomotor abilities. Or for example, at this moment, I am looking at the camera, but I can move my hand. Okay, and then I can do the drawing, so I can draw the line. For example, here that is also called a psychomotor abilities. Okay, and lastly, sensory abilities. Okay, or abilities that influence visual, auditory, and speech perception. So sensory here meaning that you can listen, you can watch, and you can touch or feel. Okay, so abilities that influence visual, auditory, and speech perception. So maybe if you are good at listening the problem, okay, you are a good listener, then you have a very good auditory abilities. Okay, if you're good at giving speech, okay, if you're good at giving presentation, so you are good at speech abilities. Okay, so we have covered all of the visa over here. Any question, class? Class, are you still there?
No, sir.
What do you mean by no?
No,
No,
Doctor.
no question. No question.
No
Okay.
question.
All right.
No
Are
question,
you
Doctor.
awake? Have you taken your breakfast?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. I hope you can still go strong with me, okay, until the end of the class. Okay? All right? Okay.
All right.
All right. So, apart from visa, okay, which is your, what is visa stands for? Values, interest, skills, and abilities. Okay, apart from visa, network or connection is also important in marketing yourself. Okay, or in a more easier way of defining it is the word cable. Okay, do you know the word cable? Right. But in this context, network is more positive compared to cable. Okay, network here meaning that you have friends, okay, or you know people working in the company, and you have the skills, abilities, and everything, or the values that the company is looking for. Then you are applying for the job at that company. Okay, compared to cable, you don't have the values, you don't have the interest, you don't have the strengths, okay, you don't have the abilities and such, but you got the job. Okay, that is about cable. Okay, network is the other way around. It is more positive because somehow you know, or you know the context, and then you are able to use your visa, okay, to apply for the job. Okay, and you got the job. So network is also important in marketing yourself. Okay, if you know people working in the company, maybe you come across a job opening. Okay, it is not being advertised, but they are looking for the suitable candidate, and you know people. It so happen that you know people working there, and then he or she tell you about it. Then you apply for a job based on your qualification and everything. Then network can be considered as marketing yourself as well. Okay, so we are going to skip this. All right. So job audit, how to plan your job search. Okay, so think by now, all right, congratulations, of course, in maybe 2 years' time, right, you are going to graduate. But what happens next? What are you going to do, class? Class, what are you going to do after you have completed your study? Are you going to pursue your bachelor's degree? What about after bachelor's degree? What are you going to do? Masters?
Working.
Looking for a job.
Looking for a
Doing
job. Okay,
business.
let's say you have done or you have completed your diploma, okay, study. Then maybe you're looking for a job, okay, because you wanted to help the family. All right. So how are you going to use your qualification, your skills, your abilities, and everything when you're going to apply for a job? So if you're planning to apply for a job, starting from now, you are supposed to look at what are the good things about you that you can use for what do you call it for the job application process. Okay, for example, if you are a good YouTube streamer or Facebook live stream, okay, or streamer, right, so it means that you can communicate well with the audiences. your friends, okay, maybe your follower, for example. So you can use that kind of skills, and then you can project it, okay, you can show it or showcase it to the potential employer that you are a good communicator, okay. So living in 2021, it is not only regarding playing game online. It is not only being a YouTuber or a Facebook streamer, but how are you going to use that ability when you're going to apply for a job? Okay, so that is how you can plan for your job search. Okay, so where you can get the information about the job opening, of course, number one, from newspapers. But I asked you last week in our first meeting, okay, what do you know about newspapers? So I can say that, okay, most of you have not read a newspaper anymore. So therefore, this is not something that you are looking for. So business reports, of course, this is a bit difficult, okay, because business reports, not everyone have the access to it. Right, company websites, yes, okay, this is one of the most seek for platform that you can use, okay, so you can use company websites, okay, own contacts, networking, okay, let's say if your friend, okay, one of your friends is working with a very big company and you are looking forward to work with the company, then you can use your networking to apply for a job, okay. Job fairs is also one of the important platform that you can use to apply or to get to know about the job opening, okay. So since the pandemic era, okay, all the job fairs are being conducted online, right? Career websites, remember, not career but career websites, okay. Career websites such as job street, okay, for example, job street, right? So you can go and create your account in job street, for example, okay, key in your information, your qualification and such, and then they will match you with the job opening being offered by all the potential employers, okay. And lastly, cold calling. So what do you know about cold calling, class? What does it mean by cold calling? Class, what does it mean by cold calling? Bukan panggilan angin.
No, sir. I don't know.
Okay, no idea. All right. Okay. So let's say you are targeting at working at certain company. Okay, and you just give them a call, right, and asking for a job vacancy or job opening. Okay, you're just trying your luck. Okay, so let's say you have graduated, you have done your diploma studies. Okay, and then and looking at the trend, maybe you find out that, okay, this company is looking for employee with diploma background, okay, and then you are going to do cold calling, okay. So cold calling here meaning that you are just trying your luck, okay. I can say that it is trying your luck, right, trying your luck. Okay, so just trying your luck. You just give them a call. Hi, good morning. Okay, my name is Muhammad Shafiqul Zaman. Okay, I am a diploma holder in computer management system from graduated from University Malaysia Pahang. Okay, so I would like to know if there is any job opening that suits my qualification and my skills in your company, for example. All right, so you're just giving them a call asking for a job opening. So that is called cold calling. Okay, right. Okay, so search for opportunities. You can do some research on the company's background. Okay, this is what you're supposed to do when you're applying for a job. Okay, read about the company's vision and mission. Okay, the organizational chart. Right, check the company website and other relevant social media. So this is a trend nowadays. Okay, all of the companies have their own social media platform, and then analyze the job description, okay, the requirements and responsibilities. So these are the things that you need to put into consideration when you are going to apply for a job, and you at certain company, you need to know about the company, and then to match it with your abilities, okay, or your qualification. Okay, so right after studying about the company, we're not going to do this. This is actually okay. Let's have a look at the employer's expectation. Prospective employers will check on applicant core values, okay, and accomplishments in order to determine his or her suitability to join the company. Okay, so let's say there are many people applying for the same position. There's only one job opening. Okay, there are 10 people applying for the job. Okay, the same position. Right, what makes you different than the others? Okay, so they are going to look at it. All right, if you are just on par, they are going to put your application next to the tray, okay, in the sense of KIV, keep in view. All right, so there is a possibility that you are not going to be called for an interview, but okay, that is the reason why I am asking you to always emphasize yourself, okay, learn many new skills, right? Try to get certification, okay, especially nowadays, getting a job is very tough, all right? So always remember that the prospective employers have two questions in mind. So they are going to hire you and they are going to pay you, for example, like 2,000 ringgit per month. Okay, so they are going to ask these questions in their mind. Can you do the job? Okay, or will you do the job? Can you do the job? Meaning that are you the right person? Okay, to be called, to be hired. And then once you are hired, are you going to do the job? Okay, or during the interview you mentioned about it, but once you are being hired, okay, you refuse to do the job. Okay, and employers also seek an employee who has good work ethic. Okay, for example, if the working hours is from 8 until 5, so you must be able to come on time every time. Okay, they are expecting you. And of course, sometimes, okay, you are facing problem, then you couldn't come on time, so you must have a very good reason. But if it happens that it is always you coming late, okay, so there is a possibility that you're going to be fired. Okay, uh, the same goes when you're going to apply for a government position. Okay, when you're going to apply for a job in a government agency, so they are going to look at your good work ethic. Okay, I mean the way you dress, the way you bring yourself. Okay, how good are you at performing your tasks? Okay, and then some government agency, they have a very strict working hours, 8 to 5, for example. Okay, in my case, right, we are practicing flexible working hours. So for all of the teaching or the academics, okay, that academician, we can check in, meaning come into the office at UMP before 1 p.m. Okay, and then you can leave at any time, but you have a very big responsibility because we have to make sure that we deliver the knowledge, we conducted the classes, okay, we have many other things to do that we have to follow. Okay, though that we can come in a bit late, and we can go back at any time. But okay, being a lecturer is not very easy because at night when people are still sleeping, okay, when people are sleeping, we still have to mark the papers. We still have to get prepared for the lesson. Okay, so each job, right, will have different requirements and different surrounding. So please check whether you are suitable to that kind of surrounding. Okay. Right. So list of employers' expectations. So they are looking for positive attitude, dependability, continual learning, initiative, and cooperation. So for positive attitude, all right. So whether you are going to look at things positively, okay, when you are given a very tight deadline, okay, and you can perform the task correctly, so people can see, or the employer can see, that you have a very positive attitude. Okay, all right. And then dependability, okay, how good are you, or of you to work on your own or to work in a group with minimal supervision. Okay, right. Continual learning, okay, you are showing that you have the interest to keep on learning. Okay, you can learn from your associates, you can learn from your superior, you can also learn from people at lower rank than you, because you're having the sense of learning. Okay, what is your initiative to improve yourself? All right, as an employee, we should have always initiative, our own initiative to be better. Okay, so if you're not good at taking minutes of meeting, for example, and then you offer yourself to learn from someone who has more experience. Okay, and then lastly, how good you are at giving cooperation to cooperate with others. Okay, that is about cooperation. Okay, so let's skip about this. We're going to have a look at the job advertisement later on again. So that's why I skip on it. All right. Okay, class, are you okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. Okay. All right. So by now, have you really identified, okay, your strengths and your weaknesses? Yes or no, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. And what are the things that you have taken or measure that you have taken to overcome your weaknesses? Have you tried to overcome your weaknesses?
Yes.
Okay, for some, okay, it is normal, okay, for a human being to have a sense of ego, right? Somehow we think that we are okay, but actually we are not, all right? So uh, we need to learn to accept our weaknesses, okay, and then at the same time you also need, or we also need to learn how to overcome our weaknesses, right? Okay, so in my case, to be frank, okay, I like to give excuses. Okay, uh, for example, I am supposed to continue my studies like years and years before, and only recently I started to continue my study. So I keep on giving my excuses. Okay, I have a financial problem, I don't have enough time, I have this, I have that. Okay, but sooner or later I'm going to be left behind. So it struck me on my head, okay, that if I didn't further my study, I'm going to be at this level forever. So how to improvise myself? I need to learn, okay, I need to get the qualification so that I can get a bit higher. So that is how you can try to overcome your weaknesses. Okay, it is good to have ego, but at the same time, learn how to forget your ego, put it aside, and try to overcome it. Okay, so that is about marketing yourself. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again, and we are going to have a look at the second slide, which is on cover letter. Okay, so let's have a look at this sample here of a cover letter. All right, try to read it and tell me what went wrong with this cover letter. Class, are you reading the letter?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so what went wrong with this letter? Okay, let's have a look at it. Application for employment. Okay, application for employment. Right. So this is okay. Application for employment. I refer to the recent death of the technical manager at your company and hereby apply for the replacement of the deceased manager. Can you do this?
No,
No.
sir.
No.
This is not acceptable. Okay, when you're going to apply for a job, you cannot do things like this. Okay, though that you know that somebody holding the position passed away in the company, you cannot mention in your cover letter that you are planning to replace him or her. So this is not good. Okay, so instead you can highlight your qualification and your experiences. Okay, so maybe they have the job opening, then you can write, okay, by referring to the job advertisement in the Star dated 6 September 2020. I would like to apply for the position of technical manager based on my qualification and experiences. Okay, so that's how you can start your application or your cover letter. Okay, and then look at the second paragraph there. Okay, each time I apply for a job, okay, how do you write the word I? Okay, I get a reply that there is no vacancy, but in this case, I have caught you red-handed and you have no excuse because I even attended the funeral to be sure that he was truly dead and buried before applying. Okay, so you cannot mention that you are, of course, we are looking for the job, but you cannot do things like this because it shows how desperate you are in applying for a job. And plus, this is more like an informal letter. So your cover letter is supposed to be, what do you call it, very formal. Okay. And then the last line here, the last paragraph attached to my letter is a copy of my CV and his death certificate. What does it mean by this? Okay, you have the copy of the technical manager death certificate, and can you include it in your cover letter? No, you are not. Okay, you cannot do that. Right? Say hi to Dr. Musa. All right. Okay, so when you're going to apply for a job, this is not what you're supposed to do. Right? And since that we are living in 2021, when you're going to apply for a job, you have to make the cover letter in typewritten. You have to produce it in typewritten. Okay, not handwritten like this. And you cannot have the contents like what being showed here. Okay, so you have to be very professional, stating your qualification, your experiences, and what makes you the one that the company should hire or should be looking for. Okay, and then at the end of the cover letter, you need to mention that attached with my letter is a copy of my resume or my curriculum vitae, and I am available to be called for an interview at any time. Okay, so you can also give them your email address, okay, so for them to contact you. So instead of writing it like this, please be very careful when you are applying for a job, and especially when you're writing for cover letter. If I caught you red-handed writing your cover letter like this, you're going to get it from me. Okay, right? So I hope in the future, okay, when you are going to apply for a job, this is not what going to be done by you, and people are not going to blame UMP for this. Okay, right. So, dear hiring manager, when you're applying for a job, you usually send in a resume with a cover letter. So, read the following sentences and write A, agree, or D, disagree. Okay, to each one of it. A cover letter introduces you and your resume to an employer. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Agree.
Agree. Okay,
Agree.
it introduces you to the employer. Okay, a cover letter is as important as the resume. Yes or no? Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Agree, okay, because it is as important as your resume, because this is going to be an introduction to the resume itself. All right. So in general, this cover letter is going to introduce you to the potential employer, and at the same time, this is going to be an opening to your resume that leads you to the resume. If your cover letter is not good enough, they are not going to read your resume for sure. Okay. All right. Number three, one cover letter can be used for all employers. Yes or no? Or agree or disagree?
Disagree.
Okay, yes, correct. Disagree. because one size cannot fit all. Okay, so you cannot use one cover letter to be applied, okay, for all of the job openings. No, right? It is not like that, because different company or different potential employer might have different requirements. Okay, and then number 4, a cover letter gives factual information and details about your career so far. Yes or no?
Yes.
Agree. Okay, all right, because you're going to state your qualification and maybe your experiences, right? And then cover letter demonstrate your writing skill. So let's agree to this. Okay, because if you're good at writing, it will be shown from your cover letter. Okay, so before we start, use the following prompts to help you. What values do you have in you? Okay, so the keyword is on values. What are your interests, your skills, and your personalities? So these are the traits that you need to think of before you are planning for your cover letter. Okay, so to attract the prospective employer's interest, you need to convince them that you are the best candidate for the job by highlighting your qualifications, skills, and qualities. Okay, qualification, skills, and qualities. So, in order to make your cover letter and your resume outstanding compared to the others, these are the things that you need to highlight. Okay, so actually, what is a cover letter? So, a cover letter, okay, is written to apply for specific position. Okay, so let's say if the job opening in a certain company stated that, okay, the job vacancy is for computer graphic designer, right? So you're going to write a cover letter applying for that position. Okay, and it is also a persuasive message that sells the applicant's talents to a prospective employer. So persuasive here meaning that, okay, you are trying to persuade. Okay, you're trying to persuade the potential or the prospective employer to hire you because you are the best candidate for them. Okay, right. So a cover letter introduces the applicants to the prospective employer. It introduces the applicant's resume. Okay, because at the end of the cover letter, you're going to state, attached with this cover letter is my resume for your thorough consideration. Okay, for example. And then it highlights the applicant's positive or personal traits and achievements. Right, you're going to mention that. A cover letter is going to be like one page. Okay, not more than one page. If it is written more than one page, then it is going to be boring. Okay. And then number 4, it shows how the applicant's talent benefits the organization. Okay, what makes you different from the others. Okay, it emphasizes the complementation of the applicant's requirements of the job with his or her qualifications. So if it is stated in the job advertisement that they are looking for a fresh graduate with diploma in computer graphic design, for example, and you have the qualification, it means that you suit the requirement. Okay, and lastly, you're going to ask for an opportunity to be interviewed by the organization. So we have people asking to join in the session, is it? Right. Not not a formal letter. Okay. Alicia, what do you mean by not a formal letter? Alicia? What do you mean by not a formal letter here? Right. Okay. Never mind. We'll get back to the question afterwards. Okay. So because at the end of the cover letter, you're going to state that you are asking for an opportunity to be interviewed. Okay. So you're going to say that you are ready to be called for an interview and you are looking forward to be called for an interview. All right. So the cover letter components. Okay. These are the things. Please take note about this. Where to get this slide? Okay. It is in column. Okay, we have the sender address, contact number, professional email address, okay, and then the date, followed by the date, recipient's name, position, department, company's name, address. Okay, sender's address is your address, right? Your contact number, okay, and then your professional email address. Okay, professional email address here, for example, in my case, I have, okay, Shafirul, okay, Shafirul Zaman at gmail.com. Okay, this is an example of a professional email address. Okay, so not like this one. Okay, for example, okay, Naruto 1981, okay, underscore Hokage, right, at gmail.com. So this is not a professional email address. So avoid this kind of email. So in this context, for this course, I would like you to create your own professional email address. Okay, use Gmail if possible because it's going to be easier, right? And then the date, okay, and then recipient's name, right? If you know the name, the position, department, company's name, and then the address. Okay, for the assessment, this is the arrangement that you need to follow. Okay, the salutation here, dear sir, okay, or dear madam, for example. Subject heading, okay, application for the post of, okay, normally it is in capital letter, right? Normally it is in capital letter, right? So application for the position of computer graphic designer, okay, and then you have the body paragraph, right? And then you have the complimentary clause, okay, and then signature and identification, lastly the enclosure. So ENC, basically you are referring to your summary. Okay, so we have full block layout, we have modified block, and then we have semi block. Okay, right. So you can read this on your own. Okay, you can read this on your own. What are the differences? We're going to do some activities about it later on. All right. So go online and find full block and modified block business letter samples. Identify the differences. We're going to do this afterwards. Okay. And then when you're going to write it as well, you're supposed to look for the open punctuation or close punctuation. Okay. Right. So the differences is very simple. You don't have the comma, and then you don't have the full stop. For example, for open punctuation, okay, let's say this is your name, right? This is your address, okay, and this is your email address, for example, all right? That is for open punctuation. For closed punctuation, let's say this is your name, then you have a comma, followed by your address, and then you have another comma, and then maybe lastly, you have the last line of your address, and then you put a full stop. Okay, so this is right. Uh, okay. This is for the close punctuation, right? And then this one is for the open punctuation. All right, so without the comma and the full stop, that is a close punctuation. Without the comma and full stop, it is open punctuation. With comma and full stop, it is close punctuation. Okay, all right. For full block layout, normally, okay, it is towards the left. Okay, normally it is towards the left of the paper, okay, or the page. Modified block, it is towards the right, right? So we can have a look at the example afterwards. Okay, for the remaining of the notes over here, okay, I want you to read it on your own. Okay, and I'm going to share with you in our WhatsApp group, okay, the sample of a good cover letter. Okay, a good cover letter so that you can look at the sample of it. Okay. Oh, okay, the question before this. Right. So any question, everyone? Class, any question? So your
For
task,
me, no question.
okay, your task for today, okay, your task for today, on the slide of a cover letter, okay, on the slide of cover letter, week 2, meeting 1, right, in our column, okay. I'm going to share my screen again with all of you so that you can understand what is your task for today. All right, so we are in week 2 now. So for week 2, I want you to read on introduction to cover letter, okay, and then you read cover letter do's and don'ts as well, okay, cover letter do's and don'ts. All right, so here are the do's and don'ts. So this is for today's activity, okay. So you read both of the letters, both of the slides, okay, notes on cover letter, okay, 1 and 2 for our meeting today, because we still have an hour to go, or maybe like 50 minutes to go. So you can read on it. And then, okay, over here, try to look for differences between full block layout and modified block layout. And also look for the open punctuation and closed punctuation. Okay, I have showed you the example, but in case if you need more clarification, you need more example of it, then you can search on your own, okay, and then try to make a comparison of what I have been telling you. And then at the same time, today I will share with you an example of a good cover letter that you can refer to when you are writing for a cover letter, your own cover letter. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. So before we end our class today, I would like to check the name or those who attended the session. Okay, so if I mention your name, please say yes. If your name is not being called, just type your full name and your ID number in the chat box session, in the chat box in our Google Meet session. Okay, Ahmad Mawardi, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Noliana Akila, are you here?
Yes, sir.
Nur Afina,
Yes, sir.
Muhammad Islah, Muhammad Islah bin Suhaimi, are you here? Muhammad Islah bin Suhaimi. Muhammad Islah, are you here? You are not here. Okay, let me copy and paste the name first. Right. Give me one moment. Okay. How about Muhammad Hanif? Are you here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Muhammad Shahril Aiman. Muhammad Shahril Aiman. Not here too. Right. Okay. Never mind. Let me copy and paste the name into the report. Okay. How about Nini Asmani?
Yes, sir.
Muhammad Yazid. Muhammad Yazid bin Zulfa Sharil. Not here yet. Okay. So let me copy and paste the name too. Okay, how about Steve? You are here, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Adlisha Hakimi. Adlisha Hakimi, I think I saw your name. Oh, all right, Islah, you are here. Okay, sorry, Islah. Okay, you're having a problem with your microphone. Adlisha?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Adlisha is here. Okay, Amsha?
Yes, sir.
All right, Adrin Shafrain?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
All right, great. Hamizan Asfar? Hamizan, you are there, right? Yes, okay. All right, Muhammad Fazrul Nizam. Fazrul Nizam is also there. Okay, I can see your name there. Okay, Muhammad Akram Daniel.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Muhammad Shah Rizwan.
Yes, sir.
Nur Indah binti Roslan.
Yes, sir.
Syahid Amirul.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and Nur Arini.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So everyone attended the session. Okay, so your task is very simple. Okay, you don't have to submit anything. All right, you are not required to submit anything in Google Classroom and such. Okay, you just need to do the rest of the reading for the first slide, which is on cover letter. Okay, week 2, meeting 1, and also the second slide, which is on the do's and don'ts of a cover letter, week 2, also meeting 1. Okay, and then you try to look for the differences between fully blocked layout system, okay, and then modified layout system, okay, modified block layout system, and also look what are the differences between open punctuation and closed punctuation. Okay, all right. So if you don't have any other question, I believe that's all from me for today. Thank you very much for joining the session.